Ever imagine a world where anyone can make a movie? Sounds kind of crazy, right? But that's exactly where we're headed thanks to AI. This is a total revolution happening right now in the film industry.
It really is. And it's not just about making films cheaper or easier. AI is changing how stories are told, how films are made, and even who gets to be a filmmaker.
And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today. How AI is impacting every single stage of filmmaking, from pre-production to post-production.
We're going to break down these complex concepts into easy-to-understand pieces, showing the practical applications of AI and really highlighting all the incredible opportunities that await anyone out there who wants to make films.
So let's start at the beginning. Pre-production, you've got this story you're dying to tell, but maybe you're feeling a little stuck on the script, or maybe you need help with dialogue, that sort of thing. Well, AI can help you there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Tools like ChatGPT and Sudowrite can act as your brainstorming partners. Think of them as AI sounding boards. You can feed them your script, get feedback, and even explore different creative directions for your story. They can even help you refine the plot, make the dialogue sharper, and make your story fit a specific genre better or target a specific audience.
Wow. So AI can really give me feedback, like I had a screenwriter right there with me. But what about making sure the film is actually going to be good and successful? Can AI help with that?
Definitely. AI platforms like Synalytic and Scriptbook can analyze scripts, even look at your casting choices and your budget, and then predict how successful your film could be. They use data from tons of other films to identify what works and what doesn't.
So it's like having a crystal ball that can tell me if my movie's going to be a hit. Sign me up. Can you give us a little more detail, though, about how these platforms actually work? What are they specifically looking at when they analyze all this stuff?
Sure. They're looking at a lot of things: genre, target audience, themes, the structure of the plot, the dialogue, and even the actors you're thinking about using. They compare your project to a huge database of both successful and unsuccessful films, identifying potential strengths and weaknesses.
Wow. That's super helpful for filmmakers, especially those who might not have a lot of money to work with. But what about when you're actually making the film? Where does AI fit in during production?
Well, one of the biggest areas is virtual production. Imagine being able to create entire worlds inside a computer, almost like an incredibly realistic video game. Platforms like Unreal Engine and NVIDIA Omniverse let filmmakers build sets, landscapes, and even entire cities virtually.
So are you saying actors can actually interact with these virtual environments? How does that even work?
Yeah. Virtual production gives filmmakers so much control. They can adjust the lighting, change camera angles, and even modify the virtual environment while filming, all in real time. It's not just easier, it opens up tons of creative possibilities that just weren't possible before.
So virtual production can save filmmakers time and money. But are the actors even comfortable working in these virtual environments?
It's definitely a new way of working, but many actors are really embracing it. Virtual production allows actors to be immersed in the story world in a way that wasn't possible with the old green screens. And they can still use their talent and creativity even within these virtual settings.
This makes me think about visual effects. You know those amazing special effects we see in big Hollywood movies? Can AI help filmmakers who don't have millions of dollars create those same effects?
Absolutely. AI tools like Runway ML are making it easier than ever to create amazing visual effects. Things like realistic explosions, removing objects from a scene, even transforming an entire scene into a different artistic style. It's all possible now with AI.
So could you give us some more specific examples of how AI is being used for visual effects? Like what sorts of things can we actually do with it?
Imagine you're filming a scene that needs a big explosion. You can use Runway ML to create a realistic explosion digitally instead of spending a ton of money on practical effects. You can control the size, the intensity, and even the type of explosion, all with incredible precision.
Wow, that's so cool. But visual effects are only part of post-production.
Yeah.
What about things like the music and the sound effects?
Well, AI is changing those areas too. Platforms like AIVA can create custom music scores that perfectly fit the mood and style of your film. And there are AI tools that can create realistic sound effects, which can save you tons of time trying to find the perfect sound.
So AI is taking care of the time-consuming stuff so filmmakers can focus on telling their story. But what happens when the film is done? Can AI help with things like marketing and getting people to actually see the film?
Of course. AI-powered platforms can analyze audience data and create trailers specifically for certain groups of people. They can even predict how your film will do on different streaming platforms so you know where to release it. AI is changing everything, start to finish.
This is incredible. It seems like AI is completely revolutionizing the way films are made. But before we go too far, I think it's important to talk about the concerns some people might have about AI taking over the film industry.
That's a good point. Some people are worried that AI will replace human creativity. But I see it as a way to enhance and amplify human creativity. It's a tool, just like a camera or editing software. And like any tool, it's up to the filmmaker to use it wisely and ethically.
That's a great point. AI should be used to make our work better, not replace us completely. But how can aspiring filmmakers prepare themselves for this new world of AI-powered filmmaking?
The best thing to do is stay curious. Never stop learning and experimenting. And remember, the most important thing will always be your story. A good story will always be at the heart of great filmmaking.
I love that. You don't need a Hollywood studio or a huge budget to tell your story. AI is making filmmaking more accessible to everyone, and that's super exciting.
It really is. The future of filmmaking is in your hands. Don't wait for permission. Just go out there and start creating.
I completely agree. This has been a fascinating conversation. We've covered so much ground, but there's still so much more to talk about. We'll continue our journey into the world of AI and filmmaking after a quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's amazing to think about the impact AI is having on filmmaking. It's really giving anyone with a story the power to tell it.
It's really inspiring. And it makes me think about all the ways AI can be used to make creative visions a reality.
That's the best part. It's not just one thing. It's a bunch of tools and platforms that filmmakers can adapt to fit their needs and style. For example, in pre-production, AI can help with way more than just writing the script. It can even help you visualize the story.
Oh, wow. How does that work?
Well, there are AI tools that can create storyboards or even rough animations based on your script. This lets you actually see how your film could look before you even start shooting.
That's a total game changer for independent filmmakers who might not have the budget for those fancy pre-visualization techniques. It helps them plan their shots, experiment with different camera angles, and just get a clearer idea of what the film will look and feel like.
Exactly. And AI continues to play a major role once you move into production, especially with virtual production. We talked about how filmmakers can create entire worlds inside a computer, but how does that actually translate to filming?
That's a good question. I'm curious to know how the actors interact with these virtual environments.
Picture this, a soundstage with giant LED screens all around that show the virtual environment in real time.
Yeah.
And the cameras are connected to the system, so as the camera moves, the perspective on the screen changes. It creates the illusion that the actors are actually in that environment.
So it's not just a static background. It's a whole dynamic, immersive world that actually moves with the camera.
Exactly. And it's not just about the visuals. The lighting in the virtual world can interact with the real world lighting on the set, making it look even more realistic and seamless.
Wow. It sounds like virtual production really blurs the line between the real and the digital world, giving filmmakers so much more creative freedom.
It really does. And it's not just about making things look cool. Virtual production can be used to create those subtle, nuanced environments that would be really hard or even impossible to create with traditional methods.
That makes me think about films that are set in the past or in fantastical worlds. Virtual production could be used to bring those settings to life in a way that feels so authentic and immersive.
You got it. And since everything is digital, filmmakers can make changes really easily. Experiment with different looks, even create multiple versions of a scene without having to build new physical sets.
That saves so much time and money, letting filmmakers focus more on the story. But what about post-production? What are some of the most exciting ways AI is being used in that stage?
Post-production is another area where AI is having a huge impact. We've talked about visual effects and music, but there's so much more we can do. Like AI can even be used for color grading, which is when you adjust the colors in a film to create a certain mood or aesthetic.
Oh, interesting. So instead of relying solely on human colorists, AI can help create the look and feel that the director wants.
That's right. AI color grading tools can analyze a scene and then recommend color palettes, adjust the lighting, and even copy the styles of famous cinematographers. It saves filmmakers time and money and keeps the look of the film consistent.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a virtual cinematographer right there with you.
But
what about things that seem more human, like editing? Can AI do that?
Definitely. AI can be really helpful for editors. It can analyze footage and pick out the best takes, automatically sync the audio and video, and even create rough cuts based on the director's instructions.
So AI can handle the more technical and repetitive parts of editing, freeing up the human editor to focus on the more creative side of things.
Exactly. And as AI keeps getting better, we'll see even more cool uses in post-production. For example, AI could even be used to make the viewing experience different for each person, changing the edit, the sound, and even the visual effects based on what they like.
Whoa, that's a really cool idea. A world where everyone sees a film in a way that's unique to them.
It really is. But even with all these new advancements, we need to remember that technology can only be as good as the people using it.
That's a good point. AI is a powerful tool, but it can't replace human creativity.
I agree. AI can help make us better storytellers and open up new creative doors, but it's up to us humans to use this power to connect with audiences and tell great stories.
This has been a great conversation. I'm starting to see how much potential AI has in the world of film.
It's a really exciting time to be a filmmaker, and we're just starting to see what's possible with AI.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time. But I think it's time to wrap up this part of our conversation. What's the most important message you want our listeners to take away from this?
My message is simple. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Just start creating. The future of filmmaking is in your hands.
I love that. And on that note, we'll be back with the final part of our discussion on AI and filmmaking after a quick break. So we're back. We've talked about how AI is changing pre-production, production, and post-production. But what does all this mean for the future of film?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Is AI going to replace filmmakers altogether? Will we all be watching movies made entirely by robots?
Right, like, is that where we're headed for?
I don't think so. I don't think AI is here to replace us, but rather to empower us.
Empower us. I like that. How so?
Well, think about it. AI can take care of all those boring and time-consuming tasks that used to take up so much of our time and energy. That frees us up to focus on what really matters, telling stories.
So it's like having this super efficient assistant who handles all the technical details so we can focus on the creative side of things.
Exactly. And it's not just about saving time and effort. AI can also help us come up with new and innovative ways to tell stories, things we never could have imagined before.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
Well, imagine a film that changes in real time based on how the viewer is feeling. Like, AI could track their facial expressions, heart rate, even their brainwaves, and then adjust the pacing, music, even the plot of the film to create a totally personalized experience.
Whoa, that's next level.
Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But could that actually become a reality?
I think it's definitely possible. AI is developing so rapidly. Who knows what amazing things we'll be able to do in the future?
It's exciting, but also a little intimidating. How can filmmakers keep up with all these changes? It seems like things are moving so fast.
It is moving fast. The key is to stay curious and never stop learning and experimenting.
So don't be afraid to just dive in and try new things, even if you don't consider yourself a tech expert.
Exactly. There are so many resources available online, tutorials, courses, online communities. You can learn so much about AI and how to use it in your filmmaking.
And never lose sight of the story you want to tell.
Absolutely. That's the heart of it all, right? No matter how advanced technology gets, a good story will always be the foundation of great filmmaking.
That's a great reminder. So for all the aspiring filmmakers out there listening, what is the one message you want them to take away from all of this?
Don't wait for permission. Don't let fear hold you back. Just start creating. The future of film is out there, and it's yours to shape.
That's inspiring. And that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for joining us on this journey exploring AI and the world of filmmaking.